November 10th, 2019. Invocation and moment of silence will be myself. As we know, tomorrow is the 18th, believe it or not, anniversary of the terrorist attacks on 9/11. And just want to have a moment of silence for the and for all the and for the continued war effort that we have going on. So a moment of silence, please. Amen. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America. Fire evacuation, we have a little change tonight. We have the exits behind the council chamber, but if you go out the side door, you got to go down to the front door or either to the farther stairs because the closer exit is closed for construction. So could we have roll call, please?
Mrs. DePoe, Mr. Rutledge,
Here.
Mrs. Riley,
Here.
Mrs. LeBlanc,
Here.
Mrs. Hernandez, Mr. Neville,
Here.
Mr. Ryder,
Here.
Mr. Renier, Chairman Cruzel.
Here. Unfortunately, Mrs. DePoe has resigned from the board as effective today. She's sent in her resignation, so we give her our best in her future endeavors. And Mr. Renier had another commitment, couldn't make it, and I believe Ms. Hernandez did also, so thank you. Board guests, we have the Teacher of the Year, Mr. Drezek.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a very special guest this evening, and it's the 2019-2020 Enfield Teacher of the Year. And I'm not going to go, you'll see in a moment just exactly why she was nominated by her peers and ultimately was bestowed the honor of becoming Enfield Teacher, and we're holding out hope that we're going to have our first State Teacher of the Year. Pam, don't blow it. I'm kidding, but we're pleased to welcome Pamela Estes, who's a world language teacher at John F. Kennedy Middle School, who's our Enfield Teacher of the Year.
So thank you for inviting me tonight.
You're going to either have to grab the wireless or you got to sit down.
Oh, I am. Great. Okay, where do I look?
You can look wherever, just make sure you talk.
Just make it
Yeah.
like.
Okay. I just want to say,
Make sure it's on.
can you hear me now?
There you go.
Perfect. I just want to say thank you for inviting me here tonight. I'm so honored to win Teacher of the Year, especially this last year. I love the Enfield community more than I ever have. My students, the parents, all of you, just all the members of the community. It's a great community to be part of. So I'm so honored. Thank you for having me tonight. So I created a video that the teachers and the community could view instead of giving a speech. So I hope you enjoy it. And after, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Is it on the screen?
Yep.
Okay. It's not on ours yet, but I think
that's his.
he's working on it. There he goes. There he goes.
Hello everyone, I am Enfield Public Schools Teacher of the Year. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Pamela Estes and I'm a world language teacher at JFK Middle School. First, I want to say thank you to the entire Enfield community for always being so supportive. More specifically, thank you to the amazing Kate Fothrop for nominating me.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant.
Thanks to my husband, who is the best person I know and supports me in every way. Thank you to my kids, Wyatt and Waverly, who changed how I teach because I see their little faces and the faces of my students. Thank you to my dog, Rangeley, who taught me I can unconditionally love a life I didn't give birth to. I want to give a shout out to my JFK family. Dr. Barrios missed our group photo, so I photoshopped his head onto former Teacher of the Year David Curtin's body so he could also rock a red t-shirt. I'll give you a moment to take in all this awesomeness to a meaningful tune. Lastly, I want to thank all my past, present, and future students. I love you all. This is the beginning of my 13th year in Enfield Public Schools. I didn't always want to be a teacher. In the early 2000s, I envisioned being a backup dancer for J-Lo. I still think it's a reasonable career goal. My students recently raved about my dance skills at the 8th grade formal. Here is a picture of my dance skills in action. But teaching is where my passion really lies. Plain and simple, I love kids. Middle school kids are just so silly. They make me laugh every day, and sometimes they make me cry. I feel blessed that I get to be with them 181 days of the year. Bonus, I get to dance regularly because I incorporate songs into my lessons. Ask my students about my circa 1990 Vanilla Ice moves to senior afternoon jams. The purpose of this video is to share my Teacher of the Year message with our community. I don't have all the answers about what makes a great teacher. In fact, I was shocked to learn that I had been nominated. I thought Dave Yakaguchi was playing a joke on me. But over the years, I have learned a few things that I will share about resilience. So here it goes. Many of our Enfield students are victims of the opioid crisis, violence, abuse, and racism. Stress that is left unchecked in childhood has long-term adverse effects into adulthood. I believe that human connection and love have the power to make students resilient and help them grow into successful and compassionate adults. I believe that students can't learn unless they feel loved by someone. Parts of my own childhood and teen years were incredibly traumatic. I have often wondered how I turned out to be the woman I am today. According to the Center on the Developing Child at Harvard University, the single most common factor for children who develop resilience is at least one stable and committed relationship with a supportive parent, caregiver, or other adults. I am a successful adult because at every point in my childhood, I had at least one stable adult that I felt loved by, and at times, that adult was a teacher. I want all Enfield teachers to set the professional goal of being that stable and loving adult to all their students, not just the ones we feel connected to. I want to challenge all Enfield teachers to love their students unconditionally, to love the kids who purposely disrupt our classes or are unkind to others. I believe these kids test us to see if we are adults they can count on no matter what they do. As Mr. Rogers once said, knowing that we can be loved exactly as we are gives us all the best opportunity for growing into the healthiest of people. Love and human connection have the power to heal our most broken kids and to inspire the students who don't experience trauma to reach their full potential. This summer, I created a guide to fostering connections with my students. I plan to print it and put it on my wall behind my desk. I invite you to do the same. Here are my 10 ways to foster connections with students. I'll give you a moment to scan it before I go into detail. Take a genuine interest in who your students are. Ask them how they're doing, inquire about what they did over the weekend, ask follow-up questions. Forgive. Model what forgiveness looks like to your students. Forgive students' transgressions, even if they aren't sorry. Tell your disruptive kids that every day is a new day. On the flip side, model apologizing when you make a mistake too. Fake it till you make it. It may take a while to form a connection with each child. Loving actions turn into loving feelings. Never make assumptions, but if you have to, be sure your assumptions are ones that create empathy and compassion for your students. Follow through. Make that parent phone call. Don't forget that detention. It's hard to follow through. Show your students they are worth the extra time and effort. Share. Who are you? What do you like to do? What struggles have you overcome? Let your students get to know you and that you are human. Tell your students that you love them. You don't have to say it explicitly. Rather, say things that let them know you care. Like, I'm so glad it's Monday because I get to see your faces again. Be a safe space. Make it clear that all students of all genders, races, sexual orientations, etc. are safe to be who they are in your class. Say this out loud and often. Connect outside the classroom. Start a club that you are passionate about and tell your students you would love to have them join. Lastly, have fun. Make classroom memories that students will look back on fondly. Lastly, I have a small gift. If it were the 90s, I'd make you all a mixtape of meaningful songs that I listen to when I think about teaching. Instead, you'll have to search Prime Music and make a playlist for yourself if you are interested. Enjoy! Here's to another great school year. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. So does anyone have any questions for me?
Start with the questions, and then we'll do the presentation. So, Ms. Riley.
So, what world languages do you teach?
I teach Spanish. I teach levels 1A and 1B at the middle school, so 7th and 8th grade.
Cool. That was a great presentation, by the way. I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it.
I had a lot of fun making it.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Neville.
I'm surprised to hear you say you're surprised that you were selected, okay? Because I'm not, okay?
Thank you.
I mean, I've always seen you as positive, enthusiastic. Clearly, you love what you do. You love coming to work every day. Especially, you love your students. You care about them. And I think you especially like to see them grow, okay? You never give, you're a person that never gives up, okay? I think that's tremendous. Obviously, your colleagues recognize in you what we see, so I wish you well. Congratulations.
Thank you so
I'm not
much.
surprised. You deserve this honor, and I know you'll represent all of us well.
Thank you so
Pam.
much. Thank you for your kind words. Anyone else?
So with that, will the board join me up front so we can present her?
Oh, great. Do I need my microphone anymore? No. Okay.
So on behalf of the board and the school system, we present you this, I think it's a plaque in here,
you.
for your Teacher of the Year. And with that video, you should be a shoo-in for the state. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Just pick Enfield and get it over with. I mean, but thank you very much. Thank you for what you do with the kids.
Thank you for all your hard work, too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Scott, did you want to run the picture?
Yeah, do you want to,
Scott, one more. You got us all?
awesome. Good.
Yeah, come on up. Come on up. Come on up. I'll move over. Move over, man. Get right in here. Get right in here.
Oh, look, we match. You we did not plan that.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again. Okay, so we are at number 7, Superintendent's Report. Mr. Drezek.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are going to welcome our new student representative this evening, and I don't think they planned it, but I got a message from Dan earlier that him and his alternate weren't able to attend this evening. Sophia had work commitments. So on her first board meeting, Madison, you get it all to yourself. How's your
Pull the
time?
mic
Give
up,
your report.
Madison, and hit the red button.
All right. Hi, I'm Madison Danew, and I'm a junior at Enfield High School. So far in the year, people are starting to get into their usual habits of the school years, excited to join clubs and classes. Like yesterday, we had our first student council meeting, and today we had our first homecoming meeting. We're starting to plan the homecoming weekend, so we're going to have Eagle Fest and the dance and spirit weeks. We're just really excited. And there's also a football game on Friday starting at 7 if you guys wanted to join and show your Eagle spirit. There's going to be food and drinks sold, and that's pretty much it. We're just all excited for the new year.
Well done. Thank you very much, and glad to have you up here. And
Thank you.
good luck. Good luck with your school year,
Thanks.
Mr. Drezek.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As the board is aware, the month of September is usually deemed open house month. So I'm going to list briefly the events that we have going on this month. Tomorrow, on September 11th, our primary schools will be holding their open houses. So at 6 p.m., there'll be Henry Barnard, Enfield Street, and Hazardville Memorial. On Wednesday, the 12th, JFK will be having a curriculum night starting at 6 p.m. They'll also have an additional curriculum night on the 16th at 6 p.m. On the 17th of September, the intermediate schools will hold their open houses at 6 p.m. That'll be Prudes, Crandall, Parkman, and Eli Whitney. On the 18th, JFK will have yet another curriculum night starting at 6 p.m. And then on the 19th, Enfield High School will have an open house starting at 6:30 p.m. This year's Family Day, Enfield and towns across Connecticut will celebrate Family Day on Sunday, September 15th. We encourage families to be part of this town-wide celebration being held on the Enfield Town Green starting at 11:30 a.m. Enclosed in your package is a flyer with some additional information on all the fun activities that are being held. You can also go to our website for additional information. There is a list of the September events in your packets as well. And lastly, that's not on the superintendent's report, but I keep forgetting to add it, but I've been giving you guys a bi-weekly update on the progress that we've made with the project at the Eagle Academy as well as the enhanced Stowe Early Learning Center. We had what we deemed to be our follow-up meeting as the board's aware that everyone involved in a lot of these projects between the town manager and myself, buildings and grounds, folks at Stowe, whether it be ECDC or folks in Jacqueline Valley from the school side, we meet every Monday to go over the progress of both of the projects. So obviously, the progress was we opened on time and everything went off without a hitch and very smoothly. But we wanted to regroup this past Monday just to make sure that there was any outstanding issues that we needed to address. I'm very pleased to announce, and Karen said I can use her name on this, but Karen Nettleson, who's the director of ECDC, informed us with regards to the parking situation over at Stowe. And her words were, there is adequate and ample parking, more so that if anyone decides to drive through, you'll see that there's plenty of spaces available at our busiest times during the day. Addition to that, she said it was okay for me to share that traditionally, she would have to schedule evening events on multiple nights because of the parking issue. She's very pleased to announce that she doesn't have to do that any longer because there's now ample parking to hold school-wide events in the Stowe parking lot. So I want to again thank our folks, our counterparts on the town through our buildings and ground staff who really went above and beyond to ensure that not only we just created additional spaces, but the spaces are more than adequate than what our needs are at the building. I know that was a grave concern. She also shared with us, and she said that I can repeat this, that obviously we knew going into a project of this magnitude that there was going to be some uneasiness for families because sometimes change is hard. She shared a story with us that some of the parents that initially had some anxiety about this move had approached her when word first got circulated that we were going to do it. She was very happy to announce that she was visited last Friday by two families who had genuine concerns about some of the programming going into the gym. And I think their words were, I don't think we can ever go back to the way it was, considering now that what you folks have done over here. So that's a testament to the ECDC staff and everyone over there. So things have been going extremely smoothly. And one last bit of information, I can't give you many specifics, but with regards to the Eagle Academy, it's been a flawless beginning. And pretty soon we're going to be able to announce that we've got an actual student who's attending the program who will be participating in a varsity sport at the high school, which was the purpose of doing this whole program to begin with. So I appreciate the board's support and the vision for going along with this, what seemed like a crazy idea, but initially when we began this process, it was for that reason. And you know, all of our intuitions came true with this, that having a student have the opportunity to wear the Enfield High School uniform was one of the goals that we set forth when we set out to do this. So I appreciate the support that the board gave and thought it was important that you all got an opportunity to know firsthand that this actually took place. That concludes the superintendent's report.
Any questions for the superintendent?
I'm sorry.
Please,
I do have two other things to add. I'm sorry. As most of you know, we don't control construction projects, particularly on Route 5. I know that there have been messages that have gone out. It's not because we asked folks to dig up the road in front of the high school, but today and tomorrow, they are limiting one of the lanes in front of Enfield High School to complete the project. We've been told that after tomorrow, it should be clear. Doesn't mean the rest of Route 5 is not going to be congested for quite some time, but at least in the entrance to the high school, we just ask everyone for their patience. We're working as closely with the town and state officials to make sure that everyone's safe getting out, in and out of the high school. And the last one, there was an announcement that went out this week. I'm sure that you guys had heard it, but our athletic director had asked if we send a message out reminding parents that we have over the years seen a lot of middle school students that choose to attend Enfield High School football games, which we encourage. Unfortunately, for those of you who have been down there, you know that the side field where the Ramblers play, it's sort of become a tradition for kids to go off on that area and either play football games themselves. The problem that we run into is it's unsupervised. And as some of you have been down there for football games, you realize there's also vehicles going in and out of there. So it became a safety issue for us. So we did initiate a new procedure. It's not a board policy that we've asked that anyone under the age of ninth grade, so any middle school and younger student, if we encourage you to attend games, we welcome it, but we ask that you're accompanied by a parent so that we don't have to worry about safety concerns with students being unsupervised in the area. So I understand that's a change for people, and we've gotten some questions on it, but it was really a decision that came down to safety for everybody at the complex during the games and making sure things continue to go off without a hitch. So I wanted to make sure the board was aware of that and the public who's viewing this evening as well. That concludes Superintendent's report.
Thank you. And all I want to add to the Stowe thing is that we had faith in our staff that they would do the right thing, and they did, and it shows. So thank you to the staff, to the building and ground, and everybody that helped to make this a reality, and we just grow from here. So thank you. Number 8, audiences. And a reminder, it's 3 minutes. And Emily Hulovich, I'm sorry. Welcome.
Thanks.
Make sure the red light's on and pull the mic right towards you.
Okay. I think it's on. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So congratulations, Madison. She's a former student of mine, so just wanted to throw that out there. Emily Hulovich, Cutter Lane. I'm also the ETA president, as you may know, and I'm speaking on behalf of a dear friend of mine and one of our teachers. She wrote, "Dear Enfield administrators and members of the Board of Education, I would like to thank you for the beautiful lamp in memory of my husband, Mark Wilcox." And I apologize if I get emotional. He was a close friend of mine as well. Mark was an excellent father and husband. He was also an excellent teacher's spouse. I believe there must be a special place in heaven for them. For more than 25 years, Mark sat at a dining room table that held schoolwork, helped set up classrooms, science fairs, and ice cream socials. He transported heavy things for me, never became upset when I took all of our aluminum foil and Ziploc bags for school projects, took a day off to chaperone class trips if I were in a pinch, and videotaped chuckles at the Lutz Children's Museum on Groundhog Day. He was very proud to live in Enfield and that I was a teacher in the system. I am so very grateful for the support my family has received for our administration and board. Respectfully, Michelle Wilcox. I think she meant from the administration and board. But I just wanted to share that and pass it along for her. And being at the wake, I know a lot of people were very touched for your generosity and thoughtfulness, and they had not seen that from a board before. So thank you very much.
Well, we thank you, and we're sorry for her loss, and thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Any other audiences? I declare audiences closed. Number 9, board members' comments. Who wants to start? Ms. LeBlanc.
Okay, just a couple things. If you haven't already, please follow the Enfield Adult Ed page on Facebook and on Twitter. Mrs. Corsatti reached out to me and asked me to spread the word to follow those 2 pages. Today happens to be the anniversary of Justin Brady's passing, and I just want to send a heartfelt message to the Brady family that I've thought about you all day, and I know that you're having a vigil tonight, which I think is beautiful. As far as Ashley goes, I understand, and I will miss her. I'll miss her jokes. I'll miss her reaching out to me, asking questions, but I enjoyed the time we worked together. Another thing I have to say, Madison, you look awfully familiar. Are you Jackie's sister?
Yeah, she's my sister.
So, welcome to the board. We enjoyed Jackie very much.
Jackie sat in that chair too.
Yeah, I do have to say, I loved her speech at graduation. She actually used something Mrs. Estes did, the fake it till you make it. I've been saying that since her speech, but we welcome you and get to know you.
Thank
If
you.
you talk to Madison, tell her that we said hello.
This is Madison.
I mean,
Keep talking.
sorry, Jackie. Tell her that we said hello. And lastly, I know the Wilcox family as well, and they're just a one-of-a-kind people. And when I had heard what happened, my heart just broke for the whole family, especially Michelle. She's just a wonderful person, and he was a wonderful person. And so thank you for coming up and sharing that, because it's very heartfelt, and it's a very difficult time. So thank you. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Blank. Mr. Neville?
Just a couple of things. First of all, Ashley, I wish her well. She's always brought some very, very insightful and thoughtful comments to the curriculum meetings, and we always appreciate it, and I wish her well. Also, congratulations to everybody that was involved in getting us to have a smooth opening. You know, to kind of echo the chairman's comments, it takes the whole staff here, and I think we underestimate them, or certainly don't appreciate them enough in my book, or don't tell them enough. But this stuff would not happen unless everybody stepped up and made it happen. And I know particularly the folks who worked on the buildings take a lot of pride in the buildings. We don't think of that, you know, but they do. And they do it not just because it's a job, they do it because they take pride in the work they do. And I think we should acknowledge them. And because this would not happen without them, or any of you guys either. But I mean, when you give them 6 or 8 weeks to get something done that another places could take 6 months, okay, they made sure it happened. Even when we, had a leak in one of the buildings, it came right in and from that storm, and just took good care of it. So my kudos to all of them and to all of you for getting a nice, smooth opening here. As the parking lot, I took a spin through there just to see how many spaces there were, because I used to have to try to find a space to go to the kite meetings. There are plenty of spaces now. I went in during the day, I went in after school and stuff like that. It was really a pleasure to see it. And again, I know people had concerns, but our staff took care of it, and they made it work. We just came back from the Adult Ed celebrating their 100th year of putting adult education programs for the citizens of this town. I don't know of any other place that has them. Adult Ed programs sometimes have a hard time keeping going. It takes an awful lot of dedication from the staff and from the various leaders that we have there to make it work. We've had that over 100 years, and it's just amazing. And when they started to read off the list of things, and you looked at the program that they have, I don't know of any other adult ed program that has that litany of programs and variety of programs that they had. So again, it's one of those things that we have staff and sometimes volunteers who make that happen. And I think we just have to acknowledge them and kind of sell the town a little bit. This town produces a lot of good things. We have a lot of good programs and things and opportunities for all kinds of people. And this is one of those. So congratulations on 100 years of successful programs for adults and young adults. And finally, the 9/11 memorial is tomorrow. And I believe anybody's invited. It's over at the firehouse that's next to Parkman. I can't think which one it is, but it's right next to Parkman School. I've been going there most years since they started the memorial. It's very, very moving, and it's one of those things that we have to keep our eye on and keep remembering. I don't think any of us thought that something like that could happen to this country, and that it did. I think we have to keep it in the forefront and remember what happened, what caused it, and what our collective responsibility is to make sure that doesn't happen again. So I invite you all to come. I think you'll find it moving, and I'm sure they would welcome it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neville. Mr. Ryder?
I just want to thank all of our staff for the successful opening day that we had. The last time we met, it was the day after that, and as far as I know from all of my teacher friends and students, the day went very well and has since then. So I also worked with Michelle for years at Hazardville. So I thank you for coming up. Eli Whitney, Mr. Dresig mentioned a few of these dates that he must have gotten from EnfieldPTO.com, but there's the Welcome Back Picnic at Eli Whitney, Friday, September 13th at 5:30. Again, Family Day. That's an event that the schools host for us here on the town green, but it's also filled with a lot of community events, tables, like there'll be a Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, ERFC. It's a community day, so it is sponsored by the Enfield Public Schools, and we thank them for that, but it's not just the 10 school buildings here in town, it's a whole community event, so if you can make it out, it's 11:30 to 4. A lot of the events are free. Some tables might be selling water or hot dogs, et cetera, but it's mostly a free event for the families, and we enjoy hosting that. So, Mr. Dresig mentioned 3 different dates for open house curriculum nights. Curriculum nights at JFK. September 12th is the White Wing, 16th is Red Wing, and September 18th is the Blue Wing. For all of these dates and more, like I said, you can check out EnfieldPTO.com. There's a page for every school. And I just wanted to thank everybody for a great start to the school year.
Thank you, Mr. Ryder. We got to get ETV to put like a flasher that flashes that website. Ms. Riley.
Okay, I just wanted to thank Ashley for her time on the board. We'll miss her. Mr. Neville, are there any openings on the curriculum committee, since that's the most fun committee we have? Let me tell you, Barnard PTO last week was awesome. We had 28 people show up, adults to want to volunteer to help out. I was totally taken aback, and this is going to be like the best PTO year ever for them. So open house for Barnard's tomorrow. Their back to school picnic is on Wednesday, September 18th from 6:30 to 8. You can enjoy hot dogs cooked by Mr. Higgins, as he does every year. He's a great chef. Prudence Crandall PTO is Thursday, September 12th at 6:30 p.m. and they need a lot of volunteers. I'd like to give kudos to Principal Sills over at Crandall. He's doing an awesome job with the electronic newsletter, because I can actually go back and reference it if I accidentally threw the paper out. So he's saving paper and helping me gain my sanity back. Third grade orientation over at Prudence Crandall was really great too. I'm a new mom over there, and I didn't really know the lay of the land so well, but all the volunteers that were there, even the student volunteers, made everybody feel at home. And when I left, I felt like I was already deep into the community over there, which was great. I've heard a lot of people talking, there's been great feedback about being able to see the SROs along at the different schools, so that's great news. Parents are noticing, and they're thanking people for that. I wanted to thank Central Office for letting the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts put their flyers out there into the schools to show their support for scouting in the community, because that's a great place where kids start to learn first about really diving into being community involved. So that's great. Thank you for that. First readers, the next meeting is September 23rd, Monday, 5 p.m., the library. We need volunteers, so I'll take whatever I can get. I don't care if you're in middle school or you're 110 years old. You come on down and help us out. That would be awesome. And then, Scott, I hear you have some homework, which I'm kind of excited to maybe help you with or get a feel for. You always have homework, but there's a lot of talk about maybe getting the sister school PTOs working a little more cohesively together so they can share nights or something.
It's
So-
always the plan to get the
always the
sister
plan.
schools to work more together.
Yeah.
We've done that ever since I've been at Hazardville and Whitney. They've always worked very well together, and that's something that I also ask the other PTOs to do more of.
Yeah.
We're actually meeting as a group. All the PTOs will be meeting with the superintendent's office September 30th. So that'll be something that will be on our agenda to make sure that everybody does a little bit more of that this school year.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think we're really excited to see what can come out of that. So that's all I had, and welcome back to school, everybody.
So again, you leave me nothing to talk about. I do have something to talk about, though. The 4th annual Miller's Farm Charity Pasta Dinner is going to be held September 27th, Friday, September 27th, from 4:30 to 8:30 at Mount Carmel on 93 Park Avenue in Enfield. The Mount Carmel Club, I should say. Tickets are $10 for adults, $5 for kids. 4 to 12 is free. This is a way to all the proceeds and benefits go to our local food banks in our community. And there's going to be a live band, and raffles, so it's open to everybody and anybody. And knowing the pasta dinners that are over there, it's great. So please make a point to head over there. Friday, September 27th. And I did also go to the 100th anniversary of Adult Ed. You know, it started 100 years ago. Think about it. 100 years ago was the end of World War I. People were, coming back from the war, and probably they missed their high school years. So it was a program probably started for that. And, it was the time that our grandparents always said we walked through 3 feet of snow uphill to get to school and back. So, and just look where it's gone 100 years, and all the programs that they listed. It just amazes me that the opportunities that are out there for anyone to continue their education and finish their high school education, and the graduation over there every year. The 2 I've been to so far, these kids or people, I should say, work hard for it, and it's again, our staff putting a great program together. So, and what else was I going to say? Something else? Well, I think that's it. I'll leave it at that. So, number 10, unfinished business, we're going to leave on the table. Number 11, new business, we have none. Did I take it? All right, so we're at number 12, board committee comments, curriculum.
We haven't met yet. We're meeting Thursday night at 5:30, and the single topic is the Smarter Balanced Test Scores. They've come in. So if anybody wants to come in, that's the meeting that you should come into. They're also going to come back here at a time arranged with the superintendent to get on our agenda so that the curriculum folks will share them with the public. But yes.
They also get mailed home. The results also get mailed home. We're notified today that they're on their way, so parents will start receiving the updates.
They're on the way out. Okay, thank you. I didn't know that. So if you want to come in, and that's where we have all our fun talking about test scores and stuff like that. So we invite you to come on down. Okay. And so we meet Thursday night at 5:30.
In Alcorn. Finance, Ms. Riley.
We were supposed to have a meeting this past Monday. We had to cancel it. A lot of people had prior commitments to take care of. So the next finance meeting is October 21st at 6 p.m.
Policy, Mr. Rutledge.
We are. Oh, good point, the microphone. Yes, our meeting for last week was unfortunately canceled, and we are waiting to hear when the next meeting is.
Okay. Leadership, we have none. Joint facilities, we have some breaking news. Our phase 1 for Barnard Roof, the money from the state came in as of today, and it's going to go towards the next project, we hope, so stay tuned. And other than that, we're working with the council members and the members of that committee to just moving forward. Phase 2 of the Barnard Roof is complete, and we're going to start the phase 3 hopefully next summer, which we had to do due to our, I will say it, are being handcuffed by the spending we can do without going to referendum. It's just, literally, we are handcuffed by I'll leave it at that. They know who I'm talking about, so.
I do say, though, everybody over at Barnard is extremely happy with their new roof. And I talk about it all the time.
And again, to bring up the point that there was a leak over the weekend, and Buildings and Ground got in there that same day and cleaned it up and got the school ready. And believe it or not, all the schools, the way they strip and wax the floors in all the schools, we had pictures of them at our meeting, and it's just a phenomenal job that the Building and Grounds does. Please, Mr. Noble.
Just on that Barnard, that leak, that was not our fault at all.
No.
It ended up, there was an attachment of the drain that just wasn't there.
Right.
But we're not spending, our guys came in, but they would be reimbursed for the money for this.
We're
Just so folks understand.
we're submitting, the contractor will pick up the
Contract will
tab on
take care of
that.
that.
We'll leave it at that. JFK is meeting this Thursday at 6:30. It's progressing on phasing, and just we'll hopefully break ground in April is what we're shooting for. Joint security is met and
We meet again October 2nd.
okay. Joint insurance, I think we meet in October also. And we were supposed to bring a presentation to the council. I don't know. I'll have to check on that.
Will we also get that presentation?
I believe so. Or we're going to have a joint meeting or something. I don't know. Yeah.
That might be worthy of having a joint meeting to get that message out there.
Yep.
Because you guys have done a great job with that.
Yes. Well, any other committees? Sensing none. Number 13, approval of minutes, regular Board of Ed meeting, August 27, 2019. Moved by Mr. Rutledge, seconded by Mr. Neville. Any discussion? All in favor? 6 in favor, 0 against. Number 14, approval of accounts and payroll.
There is none.
Number 15, correspondence and communications.
There's nothing.
Number 16, executive session. There is none. Number 17, a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Made by Mr. Neville, seconded by Ms. Riley. Any discussion? All in favor? Good night, thank you, and have a good day. Have a good night.